We begin this morning with a Fox News alert. 2 Israeli diplomats killed in Washington, D.C. after a shooter opens fire outside the Capitol Jewish Museum. A suspect is in custody as we learn about the possible motive behind this horrific act. The shooting happening less than a mile from Washington's FBI building and less than 10 minutes from the White House. But officials say there is no active threat to the Capitol and a multi-agency investigation is underway. You're watching Fox and Friends First here on a Thursday morning. I am Todd Pyro.
And I'm Carly Shimkus. Also this hour, we are watching House lawmakers get one step closer to passing the president's agenda. We will have reports from the Capitol throughout the hour. But first to that horrific tragedy in Washington, D.C. Lucas Tomlinson is live in Washington with the very latest. Hi, Lucas.
Good morning, Carly and Todd. A young Israeli couple who worked at the Israeli embassy here in Washington was shot and killed near the Capitol Jewish Museum, not far from the U.S. Capitol, by a gunman, as you just heard, who yelled, "Free, free Palestine," after the shooting. It took place last night around 9 p.m. Condolences have been pouring in from the Israeli government as well as the Trump administration. The Israeli ambassador to the United States says the male victim had recently purchased a ring with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem. The ambassador said they were just wanting to enjoy an evening in Washington's Cultural Center. Now, here are the victims, Yaron Lachinsky and Sarah Milgram. The Israeli embassy posting this tribute saying they were our friends and colleagues. They were in the prime of their lives. This evening, a terrorist shot and killed them. Here's D.C.'s police chief earlier.
He approached a group of 4 people, produced a handgun, and opened fire, striking both of our decedents. After the shooting, the suspect then entered the museum and was detained by event security. Once in handcuffs, the suspect identified where he discarded the weapon, and that weapon has been recovered, and he implied that he committed the offense. The suspect chanted, "Free, free Palestine," while in custody.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu posting, "My heart aches for the families of the beloved young man and young woman whose lives were abruptly cut short by a despicable anti-Semitic murderer. I've instructed to strengthen security arrangements at Israel's missions worldwide and the protection of the state's representatives." Here's Israel's ambassador to the United States on the shooting.
The couple that was gunned down tonight in the name of Free Palestine. It's a young couple about to be engaged. The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem. Together we won't be afraid. Together we'll stand, and we're going to overcome moral depravity of people who think that they're going to achieve political gains through murder.
And President Trump posting, "These horrible D.C. killings based obviously on anti-Semitism must end now. Hatred and radicalism have no place in the USA. Condolences to the families of the victims. So sad that such things as this can happen. God bless you all." And FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino says the shooting happened a short distance from our Washington field office. Our FBI police officer assigned to the external post on the WFO property immediately responded and rendered aid after the attack. Early indicators are that this is an act of targeted violence. And a colleague of the victims, a spokeswoman at the Israeli embassy, posted a short time ago saying yesterday morning she was laughing with Yaron and Sarah. Instead of walking them down the aisle, they're walking with them to their graves, guys.
Just horrible. Lucas Tomlinson, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Lucas.
All right, let's bring in former FBI agent Rob D'Amico. And Rob, throughout the course of this hour, we're going to be looking at this horrific killing from a number of perspectives. With you, obviously, we want to focus from the law enforcement perspective. Was it simply a matter of time that the violent anti-Semitic rhetoric that we have seen festering in this country over the last 2 years escalated to murder?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with everything going back and some of the recent postings with the media on some of the things that were going on in Gaza, it's just accumulated to the point where someone felt they had to take something into their own hands, like happened last night.
Yeah, well, as we try and piece all of this together, Rob, here's one eyewitness account of what he saw.
When the cops actually came in, he said, "I did this." He said, "Sir, I'm unarmed." He put his hands up. He grabbed a red keffiyeh out of his pocket and started the Free Palestine chants. You know, there's only one solution, Intifada revolution. And he was being dragged out of the building as he was yelling Free Palestine, and he kept yelling Free Palestine.
Does it sound to you like this suspect wanted to kill anybody coming out of the Capitol Jewish Museum, or do you think he went there targeting these two individuals specifically?
I don't think it was a target of these two specifically. I think he knew an event was being held there, and that anyone who would come out would be either Jewish or associated with Israel. So he just walked up to the first ones he saw. He was out there, pacing, knowing that someone was going to be coming out soon, and then just took it upon him that these two happened to be, unfortunately, the targets. I think anyone who came out in his path to begin with was going to be shot.
Rob, the museum where these killings took place recently reported security concerns. But in reality, could anything have been done to prevent what I'm going to call a rogue actor from committing a killing like this?
It's really tough. I've actually done security for a network that protects Jewish enclaves and buildings and meetings and stuff. And you really have to pay attention. If someone had seen him out there pacing, maybe if someone had talked to him and said, "What are you doing here?" that would have spooked him, that would have given the security alert. But even when I do a close executive protection, having someone just walk up and then pull the gun out, and it's random, it's not targeted, you don't have intelligence, is so hard to prevent, especially if they don't care. I don't think he probably cared what happened to him. So if he's not worried about law enforcement, obviously he gave himself up. But I think to make a statement that he's willing to just do this out in the open is so tough to protect against. But you still have to try. You still have to have the security being proactive. If someone's out there pacing, there's something up that you need to go talk to them about.
There was a press conference that took place a little before midnight. Here's Attorney General Pam Bondi.
State, local, and federal agencies and our great U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro, who will be prosecuting this case, will be doing everything in our power to keep all citizens safe. We have the FBI, all of our federal agencies will work hand in hand with you, Chief, as we have done, and you, Mayor, to do everything we can to keep our citizens safe. We will follow the facts, we will follow the law, and this defendant, if charged, will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
To the fullest extent of the law. And we also learned during that press conference that the suspect was not known to police, although a deeper dive into his background needs to be done. Could this shooting have ties to terrorism?
I think it is terrorism. I think just the